Live from our 7 Tasmania studios, your nightly news with Louise Hobart begins now.
A local pizza bar has been forced to cut staff to survive Tasmania's power price hikes. The bills at Soph Slice in Moona have already climbed by 12% this year, but the worst is still to come. Labor predicting power prices will soar by up to 20%.
Our business is going really down compared to last couple of years. Every single day is suffering.
The government says about $50 million has gone to hydro because of the current volatility within the market. Instead of Hydro Tasmania keeping that money, we're saying it should be put back into businesses and households through a power price cap.
The Premier says the government will always work on easing energy pressures, but refused to comment on Hydro Tasmania's financial benefit. Elwick Park was the centre of Tasmanian horse racing today with the running of the Hobart Cup. Meanwhile, a new long-term deal with Magic Millions has secured the future of the state's horse breeding industry.
A smashing, positively dashing spectacle at the Hobart Cup.
It is so very fun.
Just a great day out with mates and enjoying the horse racing.
Thousands dressed to impress, including models sporting this year's finest field fashion.
If that doesn't say Summer Racing Festival, what does, ladies and gentlemen?
Racegoers keeping a close eye on the track, hoping for a win or two to replenish their wallets, each with their own strategy.
I'll watch a few more and then I'll put my bet on, I think.
Just wing it.
Pretty much. You've got a winner already.
The Premier and Racing Minister were also there, soaking in the atmosphere. The state government announcing a new 5-year horse breeding deal with Magic Millions.
The Magic Millions sale has grown enormously over the last few years, from humble beginnings to $1 million in sale turnover to last year some $4.3 million.
Tasmanian horses and Tasmanian breeders get the opportunity to exchange and interact with breeders from all over the planet, from the Kentucky Derby to Ireland and the UK.
The annual yearling sale providing local breeders a space to sell their stock.
It'll give breeders confidence to invest not only in new broodmares and in stallions, but in training staff up.
They produce good horses, good cattle, good crops, and their horses punch well above their weight when they go to the mainland.
Tas Racing's CEO says the deal will help promote Tasmania's top breeds.
If you look at some of the graduates of the sales, I think Mystic Journey, fair to say, it's the poster girl, having won the inaugural All-Star Mile.
Tasmania's industry often racing for a long time yet. Brianna Boylan, 7 Tasmania News.
3 Tasmanian nurses who served on the SS Vinabrook in World War II have today been remembered at a local service. While in Western Australia, a memorial site has been unveiled, honouring them and 62 other Australian nurses who served our country.
Marking the 81st anniversary of the Vinabrook tragedy, with services held around the country honouring courage and bravery.
65 Australian Army nurses boarded the SS Vinabrook in Singapore. They were escaping the Japanese, who were advancing very quickly. Out of the 65, only 24 came home. 3 were Tasmanian.
Hobartian Betty Jeffrey, who lived to tell the tale in her book White Coolies, as well as Shirley Gardam from Ulverston and Launceston's Jessie Simons.
My auntie Jessie was on the Vinabrook when it was bombed. They were left in the ocean. I think they swam there for about 18 hours before some of them came to shore at different beaches.
Jessie was a prisoner of war for 3 years, eventually returning home in 1945. Her relatives gathering in Launceston today to show their appreciation.
The special contact for us is that my husband is also related to Shirley Gardam, who was also a prisoner of war in the same camp. If only they'd known then.
The 2 war heroes' families coming together as one.
Both my auntie Shirley trained as a nurse at the LGH, but my father was also one of the first male nurses who did his training just around about the start of the war.
But sadly, Shirley never returned home. She became a prisoner of war, eventually passing from malnutrition.
Part of me is sad at this time of commemoration because she actually passed away just within a few weeks of the end of the war. So you feel that sadness of she could have got there and I would have had the relationship with her.
A story of courage and comradeship of the highest honour, now remembered for future generations with the unveiling of a memorial site in Western Australia. McKenna Bailey, 7 Tasmania News.
The Royal Australian Air Force has celebrated one of the country's oldest regattas with 3 riveting aerial displays. Onlookers keeping themselves busy in between shows with a wealth of family-friendly entertainment.
A feast for the eyes in Hobart's overcast skies. The Royal Australian Air Force putting on a spectacular display despite having to cancel a few stunts due to the low clouds.
It's a 6-ship formation aerobatic display, so weather dependent. There'll be looping manoeuvres, there'll be spinning, there'll be barrel rolls.
The twists, tricks and turns taking weeks to master.
The roulette team, they go on about a 4-week intensive program before they actually get into the team, and that's about 2 flights a day.
A P-8A Poseidon also performing a fly past at 2:30 before the PC-21 roulettes returned for another round of fun.
Seen the planes go around, that was pretty cool to watch.
The aerobatic team here to support the 185th Royal Hobart Regatta.
We recognise the first of the regattas in 1838 because that's when Sir John Franklin declared a holiday. And not only that, he provided free beer. So, that would be really nice if it came back, but it didn't.
Thousands fanning out across an array of events, from gut-wrenching rides to wood chopping and even a greasy pole competition.
It's pretty fun right now.
The roulettes, I think, really brought us down initially, but just have a look around. Obviously, it's good for our little one, so yeah, she's had a few rides.
Day 2 of the regatta deemed a roaring success. Brianna Boylan, 7 Tasmania News.
The biggest party on Tasmanian soil this weekend will sound out tonight with the 3rd and final day of Party in the Paddock just hours from wrapping up. Thousands of festival goers will see Australian artist Vera Blue grace the Paddock stage, with many also looking forward to watching American rapper Young Gravy, while headliner DMAs will round out this year's party. Organisers say the 3-day camping festival has been a success and will make a return in 2024. Tasmania has no room for error after losing Game 1 of their NBL semi-final series. They were unable to recover from an early breakers' first quarter blitz, with New Zealand being 20-point winners. The Jack Jumpers must win Game 2 to keep their season alive.
Playing in the face of a cyclone warning, the Breakers began in fast fashion. Their 12-2 start putting the Jack Jumpers on the back foot.
2 to shoot. Step back. As the shot clock expires, he knocks down the 3.
Doyle found an early 3, as did Fabian Krislovic. But the first quarter belonged to New Zealand, leading by 7 at the first break. High flyers were all around Spark Arena, but Tasmania were being floored by a physical Breakers outfit. The men in pink's continued purple patch saw the lead reach double digits.
Season is tremendously successful as Rick Kerr gets that to go down. Nice shot by
Scott Roth urging his team to get disciplined. His players answered the call, a late scoring spree before half-time, slashing the deficit to just 2 points.
In this first half, Kelly laces a 3.
A 7-0 start to the third had the Breakers fans smiling again, their rebound game causing headaches.
Can't get it. Pardon's there though. Tremendous position.
The Jackies kept chipping away and were keeping in touch. But at the other end, Barry Brown Jr. was finding space and points, leaving Scott Roth searching for answers. There was no let-up in the final quarter from New Zealand. Another fast start putting the game beyond doubt.
Abercrombie. Just the vision of McDowell White to find the open shooter, and Abercrombie knocks down another 3.
Too strong, too powerful. The Breakers now in prime position in this series. John Hunt, 7 Tasmania News.
Meanwhile, Tasmania have work to do to salvage their Sheffield Shield clash against New South Wales. The Blues started where they left off, passing 300 during the morning session. Daniel Hughes was finally dismissed for 178 thanks to a stunning catch from Tim Payne. Declaring at 8 for 417, the home side made an early breakthrough.
Oh, great delivery from Abbott. And the off stump is out of the ground. And Joel trudges off with...
Losing more wickets after tea, the Tigers will need quick runs heading into day 3. Tasmania reaching 5 for 89 at stumps. And to the Hobart Cup, it was a case of mission accomplished for Gai Waterhouse as military missions swept the field to take the prize. The 5-year-old settled well, sitting just off the front for most of the race. Finding space on the turn, he stormed home to win the $300,000 Group 3 event.
Gigolo with a late runner, 100 left to go. Military Missions hit the front, and Military Missions going to draw clear and win. Military Mission by 2.5.
The Irish horse paid $4.80 for the win. 2 Tasmanian drivers have been crowned national champions at the Australian Sprint Car titles. La Trobe's Dylan Beveridge went back-to-back in the Formula 500 event last night. He held off a fast-finishing Steve Elliott to retain his crown.
A few people thought last year we might have fluked it, but, I think this year that we sort of, we showed them that, we are fast and, the Apple Isle's back on the map.
Launceston's Jock Goodyear avoided some big crashes in the sprint cars, which saw just 11 of the 24 field finish the race. Starting from pole, he finished there after 35 laps, taking home the title. Meanwhile, it was action-packed at the Hobart Speedway last night. 2 drivers stayed in hospital overnight after these 2 incidents in the Formula 500 and sprint cars. The sprint car final also abandoned after another nasty crash. The driver thankfully walked away. Meanwhile, Brad Whitchurch won the state title in the windlass sprint category, leading the whole way to take out the checkered flag.
Good evening. 26 in Launceston today, Devonport 24, a high of 22 in Hobart, 21 in Burnie. 27 was the state's top in Scottsdale, Smithton and Ouse, 21 and 20 in Flinders Island. On the close-up shows an area of low cloud over the west and northeast with mostly sunny conditions over the rest of Tasmania. Further out, cloud is seen spiralling around severe tropical cyclone Freddie in the Indian Ocean, while the rest of the tropics are covered by low to mid-level cloud. Tomorrow, a series of troughs run along the east coast of Australia, while showers are seen across the northeast, west and far south of Tasmania. West to southwesterly winds tomorrow, 15 to 25 knots, swells up to 3 metres in the west and south and below 1 metre in the north. A strong wind warning is current for the lower east coast and southeast coast. Tomorrow's forecast now, Hobart and Dover, 22, cloudy in Ouse. In the north, Launceston 23, partly cloudy in Devonport, Scottsdale a shower or 2. Burnie and Stanley tomorrow, partly cloudy, a shower or 2 in Strawn. 20 in St Helens and partly cloudy across Swansea and Ross. The UV forecast is very high 9s around the state. Looking ahead to the 3-day forecast now, Tuesday fine apart from the chance of afternoon showers in the northeast. Wednesday fine with northwest to northeasterly winds, and Thursday fine with easterly winds in the northwest. Capital cities 36 and sunny in Perth tomorrow, Adelaide partly cloudy and 25 in Sydney. And currently Hobart 18 and mostly sunny, Launceston 22 and Devonport 19 and breezy. That's all in weather tonight, Lou.
And that's all your news for this Sunday evening. Thank you so much for joining us. Kim will be with you tomorrow. Have a lovely evening. Good night.